Start a band.
This is just something we're doing for fun.
Start a band where all we care about is just having a good time.
Fun, fun, fun. Let's go for a ride in the woods.
I was asked kindly to leave 10 Foot Pull.
The guys in 10 Foot Pull kicked him out of his own band. Just a lot of venting.
We were all kind of ex-members.
This is just something we're doing for fun. This is just something we're doing for fun.
That was the very first Pulley.
Just formed this band as another outlet to release anger.
Each record has an attitude.
What he didn't know is I swore I'd never play bass again.
Just a lot of venting.
Strung out, scared straight, 10 foot pole, face to face.
One day I get a call from Jim Cherry.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about, I guess.
For me, music's punk rock. Punk rock's my music.
Not a money-making venture.
You just had these individual energies going on.
I don't know that me and Jim were ever friends.
I mean, punk rock. It's fuck everybody.
You become a family, you become brothers.
You can't trade that for the world. Here I go again.
I realized how much fun it can really be to be in a band.
I'm feeling good. I'm on stage. I'm bouncing around. I don't care. I don't care.
Kind of a super group coming together and making a record.
When you hear his voice, you know it's Pulley.
Everybody in the band was pretty much from another band.
That vocal tone is amazing.
Sort of popular, or at least known in the scene.
The steam-driven engine, we were just still rolling along.
Jim was kicked out of Strung Out, but at the same time, Jim was still in Pulley with Jordan.
Kind of like that. Okay, well, let's hit the road and see what happens.
I just want to have a good time and want to sound good and be up there with my friends, and it's happy. It's a good time.
Okay.
That's what being in the band, to me, is.
Making music is like one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And when you're able to share it with your friends, your bros, and make music with your friends, I mean, there's just nothing better.
I keep my memories of you in a drawer. But better to go me and sentimental things I can't stand to look anymore. I guess your life is better now. Finally I'm forgetting and I'm making fun of me. I guess you're not feeling you wish out. You will remember me and all those things you can do. The times I had to live, all I had to do.
It originated in 95, 96, somewhere around that time, that winter. I was asked kindly to leave 10 Foot Pull because of the job I had, I guess. Had a lot of musical creativity, didn't want to give up, and wanted to continue playing. Called up a few friends who had been in bands with us in the past, and asked them if they wanted to form a new band. Called up Jordan, who played drums in 10 Foot Pull and Scared Straight. Mike, who played bass in Scared Straight and helped write songs with 10 Foot Pull.
Scott kind of went through the same thing that I did, and the guys in 10 Foot Pull kicked him out of his own band.
After Scott left 10 Foot Pull, he just gave me a call and said, hey, start a band. He just called me and said, let's start a band where all we care about is just having a good time.
Scott called me up, told me, you know, that he really wanted to keep playing music and he wanted to put this band together.
Scott told me, yeah, I hooked up with this guy Jim Cherry, you know, he plays in Strung Out. Talked to Jordan, he's into it. I just walked in the door and I saw Jim, and Jim was like, "Who are you?" I was like, "I'm gonna be in a band with you." Somehow we got on this show with Lagwagon, and we didn't even have a band. It was me, Jim Cherry, Scott, and Jordan. Somebody knew that Matt had quit Face to Face. So we called Matt and said, "Hey man, we heard you quit Face to Face. Do you want to come jam with us? We got a show on Friday."
Well, I remember sitting around the house one day, Jim Cherry calls me up out of nowhere. I hadn't seen the guy in about a year and a half or so. He knew that I wasn't in Face to Face anymore. What he didn't know is I swore I'd never play bass again. He called and asked if I'd join this band, Pulley, that him and his friend Scott had put together. And I'm like, you know what, all right, yeah, why not, you know?
We just rehearsed the song as best we could with Matt and went and did a show. I mean, it was crazy. That was the very first Pulley show.
When Matt came down to get ready for that gig, that's when the band, that week is when the band gelled, and that's when it started, and we got more songs, and we became a band. Talking to Brett at Epitaph, he was backing the whole thing and said, you know, get some songs together and get them on tape and let me hear them. We were all kind of ex-members of other bands, so we were kind of like a locomotive, you know, it was like a steam-driven engine. We were just still rolling along, and we had a concept and we had a direction, and we were just going to go until we hit it. First record was awesome, man. It was at a time, you know, music, the whole music thing at the time hadn't been really saturated yet, so what we were doing was kind of fresh and new. We got it together really quick in about a 2-3 month period. We wrote the record, recorded it. We just got Matt, who had just left Face to Face, Matt Riddle, and he came in and just was like a breath of fresh air. He just kind of jumped right in and did his thing.
After I got to know the guys, I realized that, wow, these are like 4 really good friends of mine. Writing songs became more of like something you got to do instead of what you had to do.
Yeah, I think we all got together really well.
As far as recording that record, it was so easy. Jordan and I we laid down the bass and drums in about 6 hours on that album. It was just, you know, Jordan's a great drummer, so we just clicked immediately.
Everything was clicking so well with the band, and the music that was getting written just gave us chills.
Pretty much all the bass lines on that first Pulley record were because Jim said, you know, I just want you to go for it. Let's see what you got, and so that's what I did. I still think it's probably the best bass tone I've ever had on a record was that first Pulley album.
We knew what we were going to do. We wrote it, we did it, and we recorded it, and that was it. And that's what I like about that first record, is it's raw. Each record has an attitude, and that record had an attitude of, you know, anger, frustration, and just a lot of venting. It's just something we'd all felt at some point or another, and it was all coming out in the songs that we were writing together.
The next thing you know, we had a record, and it was like, what? And I remember listening back to it going, man, this is pretty good. Like, whoa. For me, listening back to that record, compared to what me and Scott had done in the past, it was like, wow, we're really taking it a step up.
Playing for the first time here in New York City,
The band got together a little over a year ago.
Yep.
Well, basically all been in other bands or in bands together, and just formed this band as another outlet to release anger.
The scene was just going off at that time. Our first tour to Europe was, you know, our own tour. and it was like actually really good.
After a couple of shows with Pulley and hanging out with the guys and all that, I realized how much fun it could really be to be in a band again. Touring with Pulley was always weird. You never felt that touring was something you had to do. It was more like, hey, let's go on vacation.
How was that schnitzel?
Yummy.
I have an idea. Let's go fucking drive through the forest.
All right, got it.
Fun, fun, fun. Let's go for a ride in the woods.
It was just something we did for fun, which made writing easier, which made touring easier, which made just being around each other fun all the time. Because you were there because you wanted to be.
Hey, I bet this is some sweet footage. Sweet. Where are we?
Black Forest,
Middle of Germany?
near Munich.
Oh, yeah. How do you like it out here in the middle?
Oh, come on!
What?
I'll take it for you.
It's
I'll
my
take it.
first day. Here we are
In the Alps.
in the Alps. And
The
we're going snowboarding.
We did this tour in Europe that is still one of the craziest experiences of my life. Only because it felt like we did about 3 months of touring in about 2 weeks.
Hey, look, guys, it's our first trip to Canada. Hey, Mikey Mike.
Hi. Welcome to Montreal.
Pulley rules. This is gonna be the third time I saw them this week.
Well, we finished recording the CD probably in June. Came out in October, and we've been touring the States, Canada, and over here in Europe now, and it's about all we've done so far.
Oh, I think Europe's great. Love Europe. It's awesome. It's my fourth time here. It's cool.
Where have you been before?
Germany, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Spain, France, Italy, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland.
When we first went to Europe, a lot of bands from the scene were just growing really big over there. I think it was an amazing first tour for us. Excuse me.
Two guys in the front.
Hey, shit!
We were a touring band, even though we were a new band, because we had all had touring experience.
Yeah, shows in Europe are a lot less violent. It's really cool out here. It's not, you don't have bouncers and stuff, and there's like not a lot of fights. It's really cool. In the U.S., there's just a lot of jerks that go to shows that just ruin it for everybody.
Most of the touring we had done on a steam-driven engine that first 6 months was international.
No, it started off more like it was just like a project or something. There's guys from different bands, and it's like, let's make a record, let's make music, you know? And it obviously turned into more than that. I think if it became a full-time thing and more like a job, I think what happens is, you know, you lose that fun aspect of it.
I don't know what's cool anymore. Who am I to say? If you can't make that decision on your own, then you're pretty fucking dumb anyway.
That was a part of what got me asked to leave the band I was in, was just not being able to dedicate the time to tour. Pulley was formed from the beginning, and everybody knew that it wasn't going to be a stressful thing. We weren't going to try to live off this band.
We knew that this wasn't going to be what we did for a living. We knew this wasn't going to be our future. This was just something we were doing for fun. which made it so much easier.
And I'm not a one-hit wonder, looking to get rich. I'm not trying to sell out my songs. I was here before they exploited our scene. I'll be here when they're getting fucking hard. I don't know what's cool anymore.
We started right off the bat, you know, when we started playing shows in the beginning, I think we were all holding our own, and it made a difference on stage and kind of helped the sound a little bit at times.
Record as many songs as we can and throw away the ones we don't like.
And we're gonna get rad.
And do the whole thing again next October.
My bass sat in the corner of my room at my house. It just sat there getting dusty. I'd look at it and remember all these really crappy times. And Jim was pretty much the reason I went into that corner and grabbed the bass out and started playing it again. So I'll always have Jim and the rest of the guys in Pulley to thank for that, because I'm still doing it today and I love it. It got to the point for me where I was in 3 bands at once. This is after I realized I really loved doing it again. Well, I didn't love it 3 bands much. I just liked it a lot. You know, I was really enjoying it. I was in No Use and Pulley probably for a good year. While I was doing that, I had joined another band too, called the 22 Jacks out of LA. Pulley and the 22 Jacks would start setting up tours where when I was done touring with No Use, I'd be right on the road again. So I was gone, always, like just constantly gone. It got to be too much. It got to be just a little bit too much. And at that point, I had to tell him there's no way I can do this anymore.
God, there's been a few changes. The first one to leave the band was Matt.
Matt had decided that he was going to go full time with No Use for a Name.
We love those guys. We were stoked for Matt to get in a good band.
So it ended up really just being me, Scott, Jim, and Jordan.
We recorded the second record with Jim playing bass and guitar. And it's a good, raw, fast, tight record. I think the first few songs that me and Jim both had were anger-ridden. That's what punk rock's all about. Is you know, when you're pissed, good things come out. And you know, for my songwriting, that's for sure what's always happened in my life. Is that's what's driven me. Is you know, that anger.
We feed off the same things in our lives to write, you know, on every record. It just depends on what you're going through at that time, how that record's going to come out lyrically, or even musically, for that matter, you know? I mean, it definitely turned out way different than the first record. It's a different sound. I'd say it's darker, it's more eclectic, and I think people didn't get it at first.
"60 Cycle Hum," I wouldn't say it was rushed. You know, I think we were behind the songs we had at the time, and you know, we weren't forced to do a record. There was no one pushing us into doing a record. We were ready for it, and it was cool. we had just put out 60 Cycle Hum and needed to have a bass player, and
Jim had known Tyler, and I'd known Tyler too a little bit. I'd met him at some parties and talked to him.
We did a record release party, and that was Tyler's first show, Tyler Rebbe.
I met him for the first time on stage. It was kind of cool.
So one day I get a call from Jim Cherry, and he's like, we really need someone to play bass for us. We got the show, and Matt quit the band, and we don't have a bass player. Will you please come to my house right now? I'm gonna give you the new album, which was 60 Cycle Hum, that wasn't out yet. He's like, I'll give you the new CD, learn as many songs as you can, and we're gonna play Monday night. And I was like, oh shit, all right. To me, it was cool because it was a legitimate band that had an album out, and I was like, okay, it was like a challenge.
And then Tyler stayed in the band up until this point. He doesn't know we're going to kick him out as soon as the DVD comes out.
From there we decided we liked Tyler. I think Tyler liked us. We did have a problem with his hair a little bit. We had a problem with his hair. He's a pretty serious long hair. If you look at that guy, you got to check it out. We'd be playing, and I'd love being behind the drums, and I'd see Scott come up behind him, grab onto his hair, and start pulling him around by his hair on the stage. And I'd just be back there cracking up, and I'd tell Scott afterwards, hey, you got to do that all the time, because that's great. We're all a bunch of freaks, and I guess that's why we got along and we're able to have fun,
I'll stay in the closet.
I definitely got hazed because I was the 23-year-old metal-looking guy, but I've seen all those guys' passports, man. They all had long hair, so whatever. Scott kind of pulled me aside and said, hey man, we might go on tour, to Europe. Would you be interested in doing something like that in the future? And I was like, yeah, because I'd never been on tour before. I'd never been to Europe.
Oh, son of a bitch.
What's that?
You don't see these vans at Palmdale?
Hey, isn't it cold out?
Oh, you.
Oh!
I'm so glad I know you. I would be missing all of this if I didn't know you. I would be missing all of this.
It's a very top secret project. We're on our way to accomplishing a mission that only we can accomplish. We were a select hand-picked group sent to Scandinavia to steal Ronald McDonald.
Full seizure. I'm Jordan. I can't climb the stairs. I can't climb the stairs. Wait, guys.
He wishes. It's the hotel. Look. Hey, look. Spocket. It's the hotel.
Snag it. Snag it. Snag it. What is this? Madness!
Cold out?
No, you know what?
Dude, check this place out. Fuck you, you son of a bitch. Hey, have a good race. We're racing.
Okay, have a good race.
Hey, it's all about a good time, huh?
Oh my God.
Brian,
Mike's gonna get out of the band just in case we need backup later.
I have some funds.
Jim's the culprit. He's the big bad guy.
When you're playing on stage and you see the lights, you don't really get to see the people. You're not up there. You're up there with those guys anyway, and you're kind of up there blind by yourself with a microphone, and there's really nothing to run away from, and you're just standing there. When the song starts, and I don't even think about what I look like or what I do, there's no pre-planned show. It's just kind of, we're up there jamming and we're just going to hit you with a wall of music and then it's over. It's about being able to show yourself and just let that release go. That's what I remember it's supposed to, being like was I guess remembering the times of my first impression of going to shows and just being blown away with the energy, just watching the people go off and the band go off, and that's what got me into it. That energy, that sort of vibe, that being different kind of thing, that whole scene just attracted me for the energy, and that's what I know, and that's what comes out, I'm happy. I'm feeling good. I'm on stage. I'm bouncing around. I don't care. I don't care. I just want to have a good time and want to sound good and be up there with my friends, and it's happy. It's a good time, and that's what being in a band is. That's what playing music is having a great time with people you enjoy being with and people you like, and writing shit that sounds great and having a good time playing it. For me, music's punk rock. Punk rock's my music. Our recording self-titled was awesome. Me and Jim went up and literally lived in the studio, in the lounge for about a month. Mike and Tyler were both working at the time, and they came up for about a week apiece and spent time recording in the studio, living there also with us. And then they went back to work, and me and Jim just stayed there and just pounded the rest of it out. We stayed there through all the guitar tracks, all the singing, all the backups, and a little bit of the mixing, and then we head home. That was Ryan, yeah. We did our first record and our third record with Ryan.
Yeah, then we went back to Ryan Green. Yeah, it was cool, because by this time, him and Fat Mike had started a studio up in San Francisco called Motor Studios, and so, we just took time off work and whatever we were doing, and went up there and did it.
That was a great time recording that record. We actually stayed in the studio and had so many good times.
It was kind of cool just to be away from home and not have to go to work every day and then go to the studio after work. It was great. I was able to just go up there and concentrate on doing the record, and I don't know, I definitely liked that record a lot,
Me and Mike would just, it would be like 4 in the morning, and we'd go into the studio room and just have a crazy jam session. We had some of the craziest jam sessions. I just remember having a lot of fun like that, taking breaks, hanging out, cruising around San Francisco, and just having the whole band up there. It was a really good vibe.
It was cool for me because I was like, wow, I'm finally gonna, write stuff that's gonna be on an album that's gonna be in the stores or whatever. So I was pretty jazzed about that.
I just thought the music was progressing, and from album to album, songs were having a lot of variety.
think that was one of the better records that came out, the self-titled record. There was, once again, it went back towards that first record type vibe, where there was anger, you know, the frustration that was there. You know, Jim was starting to have his differences with Strung Out, and being in a band with Jordan, it just was, there was an uneasy feeling for them. You know, maybe that third record had a lot of that built-up feeling because of some experiences maybe Jim was having with his other band, or maybe he was having with Jordan, you know, but they never brought that into our band.
Is that how slow we did it on the record? This is slow.
You know what? I'm kind of liking that. Can we go with that approach? That vocal tone is amazing. Totally love that. You ready?
I don't plan anything, I'm trying to come home. Thoughts you were always on my mind. I'm running away from problems, my excuse when I am there. Rolling over once again, I'm gone. It's all that's plain to see this life of tragedy. Save it for later, that's what we always say.
What will they do for us? What will they do for us? What will they do for us now? Trying to get a picture of this actually what shit. Let's see the piece of counter.
Hello there. How are you?
The story goes like this, you say I'm almost never there.
Since you've been in Amsterdam,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, how many times have you walked across the frozen canals?
Oh yeah, but I was living here from my youth. And I was, in my youth, skating on
the canals.
On the canals too.
Right.
Trick or treat!
Bam!
Hey, take a picture of Jim on tour. Total Jim position on tour.
It's gone, it's all over, and everybody's happy!
Oh my God, you guys want fucking Spider-Man or something? Spider-Man.
Do you want him to play slower? Then fucking play fast!
Mike had this riff that turned out to be Working Class Whore from the self-titled album. And Jim and Jordan and I were all kind of jamming on it and kind of had the song written out. And then we took a break to go to lunch, and Jordan and I went to Del Taco for like 45 minutes maybe. And we come back and Jim's still in the garage. He's like, okay, you want to hear the new song? And we played it, and he sang the whole song. Like, he wrote all the lyrics out while we were gone at Del Taco, and he sang the whole song. And it was like, there it is, it was done.
I get it done. I don't have a moment to spare. You think you got me figured out? Well, there's not really too much more. I work for a living and I get it done. Just another working class whore.
And that ended up being the first song on the album. So, you know, certain songs just pop out like really fast, and they end up being some of the best songs sometimes.
I believe the overtime on this corporate that I climb. I'm respected inside these walls. I make my journey home, watch TV all alone. Inside of nothing at all. So many times.
I think something that helped Pulley immensely was the fact that everybody in the band was pretty much from another band that was sort of popular, or at least like known in the scene.
You got me figured out, well, there's not really too much more. I work for a living and I get it done. Just another working class whore.
Epitaph did market it such, so it was like, you know, Scott, ex Scared Straight, ex 10 Foot Pole.
Matt from Face to Face, Jim and Jordan from Strung Out.
Mike from Scared Straight, and it was like, all right, we kind of saw where it was going.
I think that's really what helped to bring so many people out, And on top of that, we made a great first record, You gotta have good music to back everything up.
So Jordan and Jim played in Strung Out together, and they didn't get along too well. And it was amazing that they were able to stay in Pulley for as long as they were.
Me and Jim are like this.
So Jim was kicked out of Strung Out, but at the same time, Jim was still in Pulley with Jordan. So that created a lot of conflicts. I mean, the guys never really got along anyway. They were more just like musical collaborators than friends, I guess you could say.
Yeah, there was definitely tension, It was maybe hard for them to be in a band together.
I don't know that me and Jim were ever friends. In the beginning our relationship was just a roller coaster ride. And, Jim was difficult to get along with. And maybe I was difficult to get along with, but, whatever it was, the two of us on a personal level didn't click. On a musical level, I think me and Jim clicked very well, very well.
So we decided it was, I don't know if we decided, but it was like, it seemed like Jim was more of a commitment at the time than, Jordan could commit.
Jordan quit our band, and, it sucks, but we had to move on, and Jim was an important part of our band. We all had a better relationship with him than Jordan had with Jim.
Finally started getting kind of weird. It was just a weird vibe.
There was definitely tension there, whatever, and so, eventually Jordan left.
I've lost my faith in finding humanity. For every girl that ever broke my heart, for every fucked up friend that played that part, I have lost my faith in finding humanity.
I had to make a decision that, that I just couldn't be in the band anymore, and I really wanted to be. I think I called Scott and I told him, hey, it's either me or Jim, and it's gonna have to be one or the other because I can't be in a band with this guy anymore. They ended up saying, we're not gonna kick Jim out, and I'm like, all right, that's cool, but I'm gonna have to leave the band. Yeah, it was a sad day for me. I was bummed, I made 3 great albums with my friends, and 3 albums that I'm very proud of the music. I'm proud of my drumming. That's when Tony got asked to be in the band, and which was very interesting because when I got kicked out of 10 Foot Pole, Tony took my place in 10 Foot Pole, and I moved on to Strung Out. So then when I left Pulley, Tony had quit 10 Foot Pole, and then he joined Pulley. So I don't know. Sometimes I think if I ever leave Strung Out, Tony's gonna be the guy, because he just followed into my footsteps of 2 of my bands.
Wake me up when it's all over. I've got things to do. I'd like to get on with my life, bitch, with or without you. And it breaks my heart to see all that we've done just thrown away. And I don't want to live like this today.
So ironically enough, our old drummer from 10 Foot Pole, Tony, who was also our friend from school and for a long time, just happened to be quitting 10 Foot Pole, and we said, hey, seems like perfect timing, you should join Pulley.
We asked him to play it for us, and so Tony came into the picture and started playing drums.
This time I think I'll let it fly.
Jordan was asked to leave, and might as well fill in, right? Here I go again. At the time, Temple Pull kind of thought, some of the guys thought I was quitting just to join Pulley, which wasn't the case. I was just over it, needed to change.
Tony had it all down. He was a solid drummer, and this guy hits so hard, you know. I was like, this guy rules. He's an awesome drummer.
By that point, basically Scott had pretty much gotten over the fact that I was part of the band that kicked him out. So I think he was kind of, you know, okay, it's cool. Yeah, we can get Tony, whatever. I don't hate him.
Once again, you know, the right place, the right time.
Before we even went and did the fourth record, he did a lot of the road with us.
Just more family coming in and out of the band along the way, and it's never been an outsider.
Yeah, it was a little easier the second time around, and plus it's less stress. I mean, Pulley is just, it's really fun and just energetic and a wholesome way of writing music, and the outcome is, you know, Scott's voice is awesome, and it pretty much makes the sound. I mean, when you hear his voice, you know it's Pulley.
Boom. Tony enters the picture. We tour the whole self-titled record, up and down California, do a lot of shows, a lot of weekends, and just really good support on the record, and play some really good shows with some good bands, and Tony just fits right in.
We have done a lot more than some bands have even hoped to do, as far as like playing, you know, areas that bands don't even go to. I mean, we can kind of pick and choose what we want to do when we're all around and ready to play shows.
I got a good
So, can you give us a little synopsis of today's travels?
Very, very hard. It's been a very tough, exhausting day.
Jerry, what do you think about Pulley? They used to be an asshole a long time ago, but now they are great.
Our time to tour was the winter time, and we'd kind of just call up all our friends. You know, Jordan would call this band, or Scott would call Lagwagon, or we'd call No Use for a Name, like, hey, can we jump on tour with you guys? And we're all just friends, so we end up getting a lot of tours just through that.
Jim just really wasn't around, and he had been out of Strung Out now for a year and a half, and had his own piece to say, and he was writing music with a band he had started called Zero Down.
So we just kind of said, you know what, just concentrate on what, you know, your own thing, and, you know, go do that, give it 100%, you know, instead of trying to do both.
Jim Cherry, he was more involved and wanted to be into his own thing, leading a band, fronting a band.
I think he felt like I felt when I started Pulley. He felt like, even though he had Pulley, I think he still had a lot of musical creativity he wanted to get out other than through Pulley songs.
And he finally, you know, after about, like I said, 8 months to a year, he finally said, yeah, I'm just going to, you know, do my own thing. And so we said, all right, cool.
He wanted to write all the songs and have the control and you know, of every single part and every word, and he did a great record, I think.
there was never any hard feelings when he shook hands and said, you know, he just wanted to go concentrate on what he was doing and didn't want to hold us back from what we were doing. We parted ways, you know, totally friends. We had a whole new crew. We had Tony, who was going to be his first record. We had Tyler, which was going to be his second. And we didn't have a second guitar player at the time, so Mike decided he would just do both guitar tracks on the fourth record, which he did.
One of my favorite times in Pulley was writing the Together Again for the First Time album. We decided we're going to write this album, you know, as a four-piece band with only one guitar player. And Mike and Tony and I sat in the rehearsal studio and just started jamming.
A lot of FedExing music back and forth, a lot of phone calls, and yeah, we really committed. And it was a really good time. We had like a pretty good system, I'd say.
We went back to Motor Studios in San Francisco with Ryan Green again.
So that was cool because I'd been up there a few times before with Temple recording. And went up there, had a good time recording, and it was pretty quick, like I think a couple weeks.
I was a lot more comfortable. I had a lot more to do with writing the record this time, and man, it just went great. Tony did his drums in like 2 days.
Yesterday's remains, intelligence somewhat dim.
Mike's challenge was tough on that record, but you know, Ryan's got that way of making you feel comfortable, and Mike and Ryan mesh really well.
Person staring back at you always looks like he's somebody else. Overcome the greatest odds. Sacrifice is where the focus stems. Absolute emotion forward.
A lot of the songs, we didn't even hear what Scott was singing at all until the album was done, basically. So we're writing these songs like, okay, here's the verse, here's the chorus, I guess, you know, here's the bridge, hope this works out. A couple months later, we're at the mastering studio, and I remember sitting there on this leather couch, Mike's sitting next to me, and I hear the first song, and you know, just going, oh my god! Like I totally had, you know, the hairs on my arms were sticking up. I was like so proud of Scott, so impressed.
Confidence comes with time gone by. Reach the top, remember how to feel the glow. Silenced on my deaf ears.
This is our fourth record, man. While we were recording the fourth record, we had a friend of ours, Jim, already lined up to learn most of the songs and do some live shows with us.
It was kind of an easy choice. Like, no auditioning involved. It was Jim Blowers. Next.
It's just one of those things where we didn't really try anybody out. We just knew, okay, Jim Blowers rules on guitar. He's so good, like there's no way he's not going to be able to be in our band. Hey everybody, I'm Tyler. I play bass for Pulley, and this is
Jim. I play guitar for Pulley.
Other guys in the band would be Mike on guitar, Scott is the singer, and Tony is the drummer.
Don't feel lucky and I know I should feel proud. Giving you excuses, not looking for your going back to days of old in search for some.
He's definitely family, so it was like real easy. And he's a great guitar player.
As guys couldn't keep the commitments anymore, like Jordan because of strung out, and Matt Riddle getting into No Use for a Name. Then Tyler took Matt's place, and Tony took Jordan's place, and I took Jim Cherry's place, and so It's been this way since what, 2001 now?
It's basically not a money-making venture.
We already knew him. He was already a brother, and he's so good that it was like effortless.
Anytime there's an opening, I told Mike, anytime that there's an opening in that band, let me know. Please let me know. I really wanted to get into Pulley. So learning the songs wasn't a difficulty. Was getting into was proving to people who are watching us that, you know, I'm taking Jim's place. Don't worry, you know, I'm not going to blow it. I'm not going to be, you know, I'm going to do the best I can to keep the band's momentum going, and that was probably the hardest part.
Right place at the right time, needed to be in a band, and here comes more family. So I think, you know, that's the one thing special about Pulley is it's always, with all the, you know, whether it be someone else playing someone else's part, you know, who originally wrote it or whatever it's been, it's still always been family playing family, and that's the one thing about Pulley that's kind of cool.
You know, obviously with Pulley, there's a friendship tie that goes back, you know, many years that makes it awesome to go to rehearsal and just kind of laugh with your friends and you know, drink beers, smoke cloves.
And yeah, getting Jim's parts right was somewhat of a challenge, but it's something that was achievable. You know, I never had any doubt that was going to be a problem.
I'd like to welcome Jim for his first tour.
Woohoo!
Ever.
Wake up in the morning with that same sick feeling.
Seem to be under this thing quite often lately.
Yeah, but you know I like it.
Do you like it?
Just feel like there's nowhere else to go. Why can't you take this pain away from me? Give me all the answers, show me how to breathe. Wake up in the morning with a needle in my hand. You want love, I'll set you free. You won't ever have no one to call like me.
Oh, I love playing live. I love it. I'm nervous before the show. I got my jitters, but once the first song starts, I'm totally at ease on stage. Totally.
Wasted all this time with my soul on the line. Then enjoy the freedom that's been elsewhere.
So, Mike, this is probably your 5th time replacing the alternator on videotape. What do you have to say about that?
It's good. I like it.
It was a huge deal for me because I'd never been on tour before. The first tour that we did was a totally new experience for me. Music is great on its own, but to be able to go out and tour and play it for so many different people is, you know, you can't beat it. If you have that experience, you can't trade that for the world.
Who's the jack with the camera? Get that thing out of my face. I'm gonna get you, Tyler.
Shortly after Together Again came out, you know, Jim's record came out, on Fat, and you know, he had done some touring on it. We were getting ready to go out and tour, and he passed away in his sleep.
It was really difficult, you know. Scott called me at work, and it was you know, it was harsh. I couldn't believe it. I broke down at work, and I don't know. It's hard to talk about, I guess. I don't know. It's just it hit us hard for sure, and you know, the guy was amazing talent.
The first thought that went through my mind was just flashbacks of chili cheese dogs and Pepsis and just laughing and giggling on the bed and writing music about stupid stuff.
He was a gentle giant, man. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting at the front of a tour bus, driving through who knows where, you know, the middle of nowhere in Europe or somewhere, you know, and Jim just telling me his life story and just seriously totally breaking down in tears and like hugging me and crying, and like, you know, he definitely had a lot of emotion. I mean, look at any song the guy wrote in any of his bands.
You know, when you collaborate with someone like that and you're on the road with them all those years, and you've accomplished so much together, you become a family, you become brothers, you know, regardless of your differences.
When it's all been said and done, I know that I had fun. Take it to the grave with me, this music still lives.
We all love each other, and for him to go, it was definitely rough. He'll always be a part of our band, I think. He left his mark, you know. Sometimes when I write music, I think about Jim, you know. I think about, like, you know, I wonder if Jim would dig this idea, you know. He's still right there, definitely.
I'm so happy to hold so many good memories of the guy and so many good times we spent together and things we accomplished together.
He knew how to express himself. If he couldn't do it with words, like face to face to you, he could write it out and sing it in a song to you.
I know he's stoked that we've continued to keep it going. There's nothing more inspirational to a human being than watching that guy play on stage. And for the 45 minutes to an hour that he would play on stage, he was like a different person. And he put his heart, his soul, his sweat, his guts into that performance for the people. He was all about the kids, you know. And Jim could, he was famous for like his times when he just would be sitting on a curb talking to a kid for an hour and a half about that kid's problems, because that's the way Jim was. You know, he would go through his caring moments, and he had a big heart, and I know that like music was his life.
Yeah, it was quite shocking. Just to know somebody, and obviously, and be in a band and play on stage and create music with, and then, you know, they're not there anymore. So it was a tragic thing.
You know, no one ever expects, you know, someone they know to pass away, and you know, he was so young, and I'm sure he had a lot of life ahead of him, and you know, I don't think he realized that, you know, his music and his lyrics and everything that he did, you know, really touched people, and so many people enjoyed what he did do, you know, musically.
It's one of those things that never really hits you right, you know. It still really doesn't, you know. Jim's one of those guys that's just always been there, just always been around. Jim was a very aggressive guy. Anybody who knew him, it was funny, when you met Jim, either you loved him or you hated him, you know, and that was up to him. It wasn't anybody else's decision. It was all up to him.
Jim gave me the opportunity to do what I do for a living and tour the world and have confidence in my playing, and I'll never forget him for that. Never.
Film that, Tyler. Film that.
Oh, blackjack.
We'll call that one a gimme.
we do a lot of touring, man. We tour our asses off, and we become solid, and we develop a stage show, and we develop a presence and a sound.
I'm ready for fire, spark me up and my name. Simple seems just a few, I trust what I am saying.
It was amazing. He just had these individual energies going on. And it was just like, okay, it was like kind of like that. Okay, well, let's hit the road and see what happens.
Every day I can't believe what's going on around me. Down the halls I see it everywhere. I have to tell you something.
The music's probably like the easiest thing I know how to do, and so it's never been a forced issue with me. So when we're playing live, I really love feeling the music and expressing it.
You were a band on Fat Records or Epitaph, and your music was, good enough. Like, you had the potential to go out on the road and do really, pretty well.
Well, touring for Pulley, we've actually done quite a bit. We've done Europe a bunch of times. One time in particular with No Use for a Name, and that was really cool because we get along great with those guys.
And we started the band to basically have fun, tour, play, record records, play wherever we could, and have it be less about a business and more about just having a good time. And Pulley was more just for fun and,
Yeah, basically the original premise of having a band going.
Falling back behind again. Will I always chase you? Don't see it if I do.
We're just into getting in front of people and playing and feeding off their energy and having a great time, and that's what it's all about.
Europe's always been a place where we've gone. We've committed to over 7 European tours there, and that's a lot considering we've only done a handful of U.S. tours. We go out and perform, and we were performing, and everybody was performing well, and we were all hitting our parts. The energy's there, the creativity's there. Everybody's got this inspiration because we're playing good live shows.
It was kind of cool because we had all this road experience together. So it was like pretty solid at this point, a solid band. And by this time Scott was home from baseball, and we were all able to be together like a normal band.
And it just got the momentum going into Recording Matters. Was just, we were a real band. We had just spent a year and a half of continuous time together for the first time in existence, and it showed.
It's our 5th CD on Epitaph, titled Matters. It's me, and our record's called Matters.
Doesn't matter. second record with the band Pulley, behind the drums. I'm really excited about the new record. I think it's a broad advancement for Pulley.
We recorded the record in 3 different places. We did the drums at Sound City in Van Nuys.
During the recording process, it was still like constantly writing, coming up with new things, just making the song that much better. We changed it up a bit. We switched producers. We switched to a guy named Matt Hyde.
Well, after about 32 takes of the previous song, I think my luck's going to change here.
We're very fortunate enough to be involved with Epitaph Records, and having that relationship with Brett, it's amazing, especially to have Epitaph behind you like that. It's really cool.
I would like to think that every song is a story.
Blasted through it, punk rock. 12 songs in 3 days.
You can interpret it one way, and he can interpret it another way, and I can interpret it another way, and the song could be meant to have like multiple different meanings and not really have to be one subject.
But you went up.
The record's been a little over a year now. It's been a lot of hard work. Everybody's made a lot of sacrifices.
For Matters, everybody was finally in town. We had many nights where Matt would come over to our studio and actually work with us and work songs through, and that was a huge help.
A lot of vocals on this record, so every time we would do another vocal track, we would open up a whole new can of worms where you're trying to match your voice or harmonize with your voice, and that's tough.
Record is totally different from what we've done in the past. Completely different approach. I don't think we've ever worked this hard on a record.
I'm looking for a friend today. Another victim just like me. A lunatic, a loser, a freak. Another casualty from a fucked up society.
We've always had a few songs to get us on our way, and usually once you have a song or two to get you started, you kind of have a direction in the sense you're going with the recording.
That was a whole new. I was a virgin when it came to that. To be honest with you, I was a little intimidated at first because Mike was kind of like the songwriting guy. Jim Cherry was, but he wasn't there anymore.
This is the studio where everything's written. It's where the magic happens.
We've always been proud to say that we've all collaborated on our music.
You sold your soul to the man. Another deal, a deal gone bad. Another seed that never gets planted. Corporate insects destroy our planet.
We just kind of knew how to record and started figuring it out and learning, and you know, you learn every time you go in the studio. We think it's the best record. A lot of time, a lot of pre-production time. Great record, great time recording it.
Never gave any credibility for the vision given to the enemy, and on the faces of humanity, a stone tied up for a man on a pedestal.
Mike, you know, recording experienced dog. He's you know, he's been in the studio, done records, and just kind of same old hat for him, and gets better every time. Always gets great tones, and Jim and Mike did a really good job complimenting each other on their tones and getting a real full sound for the record.
Over a year's time, we had some pretty goddamn good songs. By the end, when we finally finished recording everything, that was a killer album. Matters record was awesome, and I'm very proud of everything that we put on there and my contributions.
Bringing back a real train of thought, another tool for the melting pot.
And then Matters was, after that got released and we went on the road, that was like the most touring we've ever done. For that year or whatever, we were like a full-time band for the most part.
We did a lot last year. Like I said, we went to 5 continents, toured all year long, promoting the record, did more than we've ever done promoting a record.
Guess I'll let you know just how the story goes. Give you everything you want.
To all bus drivers all over the world, if you see these people, don't drive them.
Came to this town to rock.
We love Barcelona!
Don't drive this band. Never.
Never.
Hello to my people.
Scott, do you have something to say?
Hi. How are you?
So me getting into Pulley, who already established a fan base, it was there. It was a red carpet ride for me. We weren't playing these little back alley clubs. We were doing real things.
Touring for Matters was like the best time I've ever had in Pulley. Just huge places, great tour. We went everywhere. We did all the best tours. We did Warped Tour in the United States. We did a tour called the Frostbite Tour in Canada. We did the Deconstruction Tour in Europe, which is kind of like the Warped Tour of Europe. We did Australia for the first time ever. We did Japan. We did South America for our second time. So basically we went to 5 continents. It was awesome. We had such a good time and definitely played our best shows we've ever played and definitely sounded better than we've ever sounded.
Going on tour and going to different places every night and doing all that kind of stuff, that's what I always wanted. That's what I wanted from music the whole time.
Hello! We drive now.
Fucking Shiza! You guys ready over there?
Yeah, you're ready.
What the fuck is really going on with me? I'm not a creature in a circus freak show. I really like to be. Don't feel sorry, but there's always pity in here. Don't feel sorry for you. I'm not asking myself to do anything. Thanks a lot. Yeah, going places where I've only dreamed to go.
South America could be our best market.
I love this country. Oh my God.
Okay, just arrived in Rio. This is our room, 1705, and here's the view. Tyler, please. Hi, Copacabana Beach Resort.
We all enjoy touring, I think. You know, just we take tours here and there when we get them. We've had some places where we've had some really good times. You know, we went down to Brazil and
had probably the best time of our life. We've been to Europe quite a few times, toured the U.S. quite a few times, Canada. I know we're going to try to get a lot of touring out on this record. But yeah, you do what you got to do, man. Got to do what you got to do.
I think Pulley came out just basically with the thought of balance and being able to, just kind of pull from one end and make it easier to go out and kind of like as a group, as cheesy and corny as it is, it's like everybody pulling on the same side of the rope, and the Pulley just making it easier.
I'd say it's powerful, melodic, fast, good feeling, energy music.
Anybody that listens to that kind of music, it's going to be in your blood forever, and you might not listen to it every day, you might not listen to it at all anymore, but it's always going to be in your blood.
My experience with Pulley to date has been an outstanding experience.
I feel solid about us. I'm proud of our band. We survived a lot of tough years. I don't know. I like everything that we've done, even to this day.
I think we established a direction and where we were going to go and a style, and we've stuck with that.
Something that I wouldn't trade for the world. I wouldn't have it go any other way. As far as what I've experienced in the band and being part of the band and being accepted into the band.
My thoughts of being in the band, flashing back to seeing pictures and video, and is just what a great time we've had, and how fortunate we've been.
It's one of those things where like not a lot of people get to do this,
There's nothing better than getting on stage and seeing people get behind your band.
I just want to do it as long as I can because I love these guys. They're some of my best friends, and it's not hard. It's just totally easy and fun. It's like going on a vacation with all my friends whenever I go on tour, and writing songs is just like it was when I was 14 jamming with my friends in a garage.
I think probably still my favorite song is Cashed In. It's like the first song that we wrote. I don't know, it's just something about it that, I don't know if it's because it's the first thing we did and it's the first song on the first record, but to this day, as many times as we've played it, it's just something about playing that song is just like, it's incredible.
There's still no better feeling of that, a punk rock gig. I mean, punk rock's punk rock. It's fuck everybody. When you're angry and you get to play fast and a drummer's just wailing behind you, it feels good. And guitars are loud and everything's on and everybody's on time and it's tight. And people have come to the shows and come and supported it, which has made us want to continue and to keep doing it. Because ultimately, it comes down to being on stage and playing in front of people. And when you're on stage and you're in front of people and they're singing your songs and they're bouncing their heads and they're getting into it, there's no better feeling in the world.
You touch people across the world with your music, and kids, thousands of miles away are singing your songs.
Whether we've made money or not made money, we've always had a good time. We've always got along. We've always been the band that's hung out together.
We're all friends. We've all been friends for a long time, and that's, what a lot of bands strive for. And not a lot of bands actually can say that they're all friends.
We've always had day jobs. We've never solely been supported on the band. Up until the last couple of years, everybody's had a job. You know, we just wanted to have a good time with it. If you don't enjoy what you do, then you really shouldn't do it. And we've always enjoyed writing music and playing music live. And fortunately for us, we think we've been good at it.
I feel, you know, I'm proud of what we've done, what we've accomplished.
How did it come to be? I still had a lot of musical creativity inside me. I didn't want to give up.
We had a record label, you know, and everything was just fantasy.
Apparently, we made it big because now we're on our cell phone.
I'll take my beer back now.
Cheers. We made it across the world.
Da-da-da.
Sound check. I've given away 5 videos for Jordan.
Opera House.
Yeah, made it to the Opera House finally. Check it out.
How is it?
Rad.
I'm gonna play the show tonight with no neck. Ah, shit.
Oh, you're fucked now. Here's where Scott slept last night. That's right.
I mean, he could see his breath under his sleeping bag.
If it works right.
Your teeth.
Does that look nice?
Beautiful. Oh, we love these. Oh, King Minoku. Wise leader.
Twice. 3 times almighty. And I love you.
Oh, what was that? You don't have to stamp passport. We stamped your forehead.
Tony, sing with me. For the times that we've given.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. You sucker. All right, I'm on. Here is Candid Camera.
I had my first experience with punk rock last night. Outstanding.
Hi, Chris. How are you? And now we have our love on tape.
Oh my God.
This one goes to 10.
That schnitzel sure was
Let me see that. How was that?
So schnitzely.
Train going for a ride on the boring train.
I can't do that on film.
Daddy's been drinking a little bit. Come on, it'll be funny. Come on.
Okay. I'll do it.
We said when we started the band, just keep it fun, regardless.
Bye, Mike.
Bye.
Oh, no, don't look. Come over here.
This is your honeymoon. It's great.
You guys are so rock over there.
You're so jealous over there?
I know.
Scott, give me some love. So amazing.
Yeah, in fact, very much so, yes.
Cooperation. Ooh, I can hear that.
Teamwork, folks.
So, Mike, what are you doing right now?
Trying off.
Oh, let's see what you can. Oh, look at you.
Damn, like
This is my Milwaukee tuber. I've been working on it for a few years.
Hills of music, take me high in the sky. Holy hills of Munich, won't you snow on me today? Hey! Hey!
Beer, rum and cokes, whiskey, something special.
Right, we were walking up the side, sitting inside. We had a bit of a drink. It was one of these, right? And we were talking. It was really funny because I said, "What you say?"
Future looks so bright to me.
Right there, right? That's it. That's really funny.
Cool, Scott actually filmed, so I don't think I'm in any of the video footage I have. some comments. Need some comments.
Okay. We're getting some fucking drinks, yo. My mouth is as dry as a dead dingo's donger.
Wow. Spoken like a true Aussie. Does that mean they're all going to get off right now, or we have to fit in there?
Except vodka? Much alcohol. Cocaine, heroin, alcohol, peyote. Peyote, when we play in Arizona, much peyote. Yeah.
So you like some German beer?
Yes.
It's fun. It's cool. It sucks. Oh, I don't think so.
Oh. Randy. Dude, if this bus is a rockin', don't come a knockin'.
Dirty socks don't tune.
It's like those dirty underwear.
Oh, that's right.
A new form of crowd service.
Dude, that's fucking awful.
Thanks, Scotty. Yeah, thank you. Start like that.
Fired. Man who's fired. How you doing?
Would you agree?
I like it.
Das ist los. Das ist gut, ja?
Yeah, very nice.
Never leave home with a dirty pair of underwear.
Bei uns ins Büro kommt zur Einsatzleitung.
Right.
Look at him stand there, just saying, come.
Donald has no idea right
just
now.
Come. Just come out right here, Scott.
come on, Scott.
Chain into
Scott.
the ground.
My ass is chained in the ground.
How the fuck do you open this door?
Go grab him.
We're gonna make another run, and we're gonna do it again. The first mission didn't wait. Sometimes in an air attack, you don't strike on the first fucking bomb. We need to make a second pass.
Oh, it's not like they're fucking just didn't see what just happened.
And we want to go home.
No one's gonna get us out.
We'll come and we come and go home.
Hey, tell us about Shufuflu Kantish. Say Shufuflu Kantish. Do you know Shufuflu Kantish?
No,
You don't know? You don't know anything about it?
Let's see it. One play.
One play's recorded.
Hello, we're back.
Hello?
And, I mean, how much more can you ask for? This place is a palace. Look. Or no, don't look. Come over here. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Jim, you got all the dirt out of it. Let's go.
American baseball player Scott Radinsky arrested in Sweden for stealing a Ronald McDonald.
Dude, the employees right now are watching him. The guy's watching him.
Oh shit! Scott, you're busted. Let's go. Let's go, Scott. I'm busted, Scott. Let's go. Get the fuck out of here,
It's like
Scott.
fucking chained or something. I'm like, oh,
Oh man, he's writing the license plate down.
It's okay. It's in Dave Pollock's.
I'd be like the merch bitch.
Craig's wasted.
He's waiting for the ride. Looking for one way out of this town. I couldn't let him down. So I asked him how far he said as far as you go. I couldn't say no. There's needs to give one to step on the last of my remember what surprised I just
Pretty cool, man. Want to see it again?
Seminal things I can't bear to look anymore. I guess your life is better now. Finally executed a menu for the man. I guess you're not feeling you about. Do you ever remember me and all those things you played to do? The times I owed you late at night with all I am to you. It's a memory. 4 years and counting. outside. This moment snaps me and it won't let me go, and I got nowhere to hide. I was 22 years old alone, and I didn't have many friends. You've taken everything from me. I'm not afraid of being alone inside this world, 'cause I know when they turn, God's gonna come. Walking a mountain of silence in my sleep. Dreams of moments we have shared, our painful things to keep. Time is a healer, and I guess in time we'll see. When you realize what you had, I'll be a memory.
Tell us about this.
This huge chunk of flowing water from the Nordic Sea was once a nice, pleasant flowing, ripply type water. Now it's frozen solid.
Can you say cold?
Run to the hills! Run for your lives!
Oh, dude, I didn't hear that one yet.
To the end of our rainbow. There's something I must. Hey, how you doing? Confess.
How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
Gotta film that.
Are you filming me? You motherfucking stupid asshole!
Thank you. I won't. You act pro, ride pro. If you look pro, you'll crash.
Yeah, when this hood goes over.
first one you ever heard?
All right. Let me see this thing.
That's awesome. Let me see it.
Innards.
It's amazing, isn't it? Nature? It's amazing.
Oh my god. Holy crap.
Hey, what are you guys doing? Drinking before we go racing.
Drinking before I go smash your ass.
This is the only place that you can come and have a Hefe Bison and then go race go-karts.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. We're trapped. We're stuck.
Hook it up, bitch. Little adventure. Little adventure. That's all, Matt.
Where are you? What are you doing?
Tuning my bass in Italy.
Das ist geil?
Fucking Scheiße!
So you guys outside to see